Welcome back, everyone, to part 1 of Dominus Rubrae. In this alternate history, Mesopotamia doesn't just survive, it rises again, and to make that possible, we need to rework a few key aspects: internal structure, citizen treatment, and military logistics. Now let's begin where it all changed, with the death of the father king. The father king was beloved. Under his long reign, Mesopotamia enjoyed stability, but not expansion. He ruled with a wise and measured hand, ensuring peace among the people and basic order across the core provinces. However, when he passed away peacefully in his sleep, he left no clear heir. That caused unrest. His twin sons, equal in age but very different in philosophy, declared a duel to determine succession. One brother, a man of tradition and compromise, sought unity through diplomacy. The other was fierce, ambitious, and strict, a soldier more than a statesman. In the end, the tyrannical brother won. A new era of iron rule. To the people's surprise, the early days under the new ruler were calm. He didn't dismantle his father's legacy. Government offices stayed the same. Law enforcement continued its daily duties. There were no sudden purges or mass arrests. People even began to think he might not be as bad as they feared. But underneath the surface, he was planning something different. Something far more aggressive. Military officials were promoted. Supply chains were inspected and rebuilt. Farmland was reorganized to support military food storage. Local militia began operating under central command. And for the first time in decades, conscription was quietly reinstated. Mesopotamia, under its new ruler, wasn't changing its government, but it was shifting its focus to conquest. The first campaign, Arabia. Mesopotamia had lost a lot of land in the past. Much of North Africa, key territories in Arabia, and major positions in the Middle East were gone. So, within 2 months, the Red Lord acted. They began with Hijaz, a region weakened by infighting and foreign influence. Mesopotamian forces crossed the border fast and met little resistance. Cities surrendered. Local leaders who cooperated were given minor titles. Those who resisted were quietly replaced. With Hijaz secured, they marched deeper into the desert, into Najd. It was a brutal stretch. Heat stroke, sandstorms, and poor infrastructure made it a risky move. But the gamble paid off. Mesopotamian troops adapted quickly. They trained day and night in extreme conditions, learning how to fight in the desert and make it their weapon. Mountain training and strategic planning. Next, Mesopotamia turned to Caucasia, a mountainous region with both strategic and symbolic value. Their soldiers, now hardened by desert warfare, began training in cold highlands, learning to navigate rocky terrain and execute ambushes in tight passes. During this time, Mesopotamia reached out to its two neighbors, Pasindia and Caspia. The three powers signed a deal to break up a coalition of nations called the Circle Alliance, which stood in the way of their growth. The terms were simple: each power would claim part of the Circle's territory. Mesopotamia even gave up extra land in the negotiations to keep Pasindia and Caspia loyal, showing it could be both ruthless and diplomatic. Operation Nile, invasion of Egypt. After securing the eastern front, Mesopotamia turned its sights on Egypt. It was a bold move. Egypt was large, but politically unstable. The Mesopotamian army launched a fast-paced invasion. With the capital taken and military leaders captured or fleeing, Egypt surrendered. However, Mesopotamia made a strategic choice: they did not invade Sudan or Ethiopia. Dominus Rubrae knew those fronts would stretch his army too thin and create long-term problems. Westward, Libya. With Egypt secured and the south left alone, Mesopotamia turned westward. The Libyan campaign began with a focus on the coast. Ports were blockaded, and coastal cities were taken one by one. Libya, divided and poorly defended, crumbled under the Mesopotamian advance. Within weeks, the coastline was under full control. This gave Mesopotamia direct access to the Mediterranean, allowing trade, military staging, and resource flow to expand further west. Thank you all for watching part 1 of Dominus Rubrae. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss part 2, where we'll cover the internal restructuring of the empire, the rise of intelligence networks, and the next big campaign. See you soon, and may the Red Lord rise.